Wakeboarding. How steep is the ramp? To find out how steep it is, so flat, sort of steep, really steep, like a cliff, you can calculate what is known as slope. Slope is defined as the change in the rise, which is the up or the down, divided by the change in the run, which is the right-left. And that's comparing two spots on a line. We're going to start rather simply, though, with example 1. And we're going to say the ramp goes, I'll draw it really quick, has a rise of 6 feet. So it goes from 0 to 6. Okay, this is flat, it goes up to 6. And from start to finish, it's 10 feet in length. Okay? So the change from 0 to 6 is how many? Good. Anybody else know? How about the change in run from 0 to 10? Bravo. 6 over 10, which reduces to 3 over 5. That, my friends, is the slope of the ramp that they've sketched for us. Okay? Take a look at the bottom, the little notebook thingy that describes the slope of a line. If you are given 2 points of a non-vertical line, that means not like this. Okay, not like this. So as long as it is not like this, if you have 2 points, you can find the slope of the line, and they give you the definition that I have given you, only they described it as the change in y, because that's the up-down movement, over the change in x. Okay? Again, you might look at your book and find it a little differently. Change in y over change in x. I'm going to give you an example real quick, similar to the one they give you in the book. Okay, we're going to use my example. I'm going to sketch a little graph real fast.
Ashley, how old is the office, please, Ashley?
And I'm going to sketch a point here and a point here. So that's a 1, that's a 1, 1, 2, that's a 3, that's a 3. That's hilarious. All right. Okay. The difference between the two, well, let's write down what the coordinates are. This is 1, 1, right? So the first one is 1, 1, and that's your y, that's your x. That's not a 3, Mrs. Myers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry about that. The next point is 4, 3. Okay? Now, it says to find the change in y and divide it by the change in x to give us the slope of the line that I didn't actually sketch in. There's the line. So the change in y, if I subtract 1 minus 3 and divide it by 1 minus 4, I end up with a negative 2 over a negative 3, which is 2/3. Would you agree with me? The slope of the line I am describing is a positive 2/3. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. What if I decided to subtract it this way? Say 3 minus 1 over 4 minus 1. What do I get? 2/3. As long as you subtract them both in the same order, whether it's down, down, 1 minus 3, 1 minus 4, or up, up, 3 minus 1, 4 minus 1, you still end up with the exact same slope. Okay? Let's do a couple of pieces of information for you. When you compare slopes, top of 405, this picture paints 1,000 words. Okay, uphill will always be a positive number, positive slope. Notice this is uphill. My slope is positive. Okay? And when they say uphill, they mean right, left to right. Okay? From the left to the right went uphill. And they show the guy climbing uphill. Downhill is always going to be a negative slope. Left to right. Okay, you're viewing it from left to right. And if you look at the left side of that second photograph, at the top, the guy's going downhill. Okay? If you have a flat line, the slope will always be 0. Okay? Because there's no change. There's no change. It's flat. In contrast, something that looks like a cliff, so a vertical line, is the answer to a vertical line is undefined. Think of it this way. If you try to stand on a flat surface, unless you are Spider-Man, you cannot do it. Right? There is no way you can do it unless you are Spider-Man or you are chained onto the wall. Okay? Therefore, if you are looking at a vertical line, the answer will always be undefined. You won't even have to do anything. Okay? You won't even have to do anything. Example 2. Just like what I did up here, this is one version. We're going to do a couple more. Example 2s. Find the slope of the line shown. And we have a line that has a point of 1, 2, and 4, 5. Over 1, up 2. There's your 1, there's your 2. Over 4, up 5. Okay? This is the line representing those points. The points for the first spot is 1, 2. The second spot is 4, 5. Okay? This is 1, 2. This is 4, 5. To solve for slope, you need to find the change in the rise, which is the y value, over the change in the run, which is the x value. Okay? So this is x, this is y. I can do it either way. 2 minus 5 over 1 minus 4, which is going to be negative 3 over negative 3. That divided by that is a positive 1, isn't it? Which means for every move up, we go over 1. And that's true. Up, over. Up 1, over 1. Okay, that's all that means. You can look at it as 1, or you can look at it as 1 over 1. Either way, it's the same exact thing. If I go this way, and I subtract, the y values go on the top, 5 minus 2, 4 minus 1, I get 3 over 3, which is the exact same thing. As long as you go the same order. This time I went down. This one I went up. Whatever is easier for you in your brain. Okay? This was a positive slope because it's uphill. Okay? So it was positive. Another example, too, is the one below it, which looks like it has a negative. So I'm going to draw this quadrant here. It's all I really need. And it looks like I have a point 0, 1, 0, 1, which is right there, over 0, up 1, and 3, negative 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 3, negative 3. Okay, there's my other point. It's going downhill. Do you think it's going to be positive or negative? It's definitely going to be negative. If you come up with something that isn't negative, you've done something wrong. Okay, so listing 0, 1, and 3, negative 3, I'm going to do my subtraction. Let's go from top to bottom. Okay, change in y. 1 minus negative 3. It's not 1 minus 3, it's 1 minus negative 3. Change in x. 0 minus 3. Okay, had we gone the other way, let's just say we subtracted in the other order. It's negative 3 minus 1 and 3 minus 0. Will we get the same answer? Mm-hmm. The top is going to be 1 minus a negative, so it's going to be 4. Bottom, 0 minus 3 is negative 3, which negative 4 thirds is how you would say that. Okay, you don't have to leave your negative attached to the 3, because anytime you have a positive numerator and a negative denominator, the resulting quotient is negative. Over here, negative 3 minus 1 is what? Negative 4. 3 minus 0 is what? 3. Same answer, as long as you go the same direction. Let's do a couple of these. Let's do checkpoint 2 and checkpoint 4. Now, I'm not going to graph it. I'm not going to graph checkpoint 2. I'm just going to use the numbers they've given me. Negative 2 and 5 is the first pair. 6 and 1 is the second pair. How do I solve and get the slope? How do I solve and get the slope? Tiana, what would I do?
5 minus 1.
Over?
Negative 2 minus 7, 6.
Notice how she went top down, top down. Perfect. If you wanted to go the other way, you could. 1 minus 5, 6 minus negative 2. Either way, you are going to have 5 minus 1 is 4, negative 2 minus 6 is negative 8, reduces to negative 1 half. Okay? This one would have been negative 4, 8, same thing. Okay, that's checkpoint 2. Checkpoint 4. 5, 0, and 7, 8. Jess, what will you do? She went that way. That's what I would have done. She went this way because it was clear to her that the top then is going to be 8 and the bottom is going to be 2. Reduces to 4, or 4 over 1. For every up 4, we only go over 1. Up 4 over 1. That's literally what that means. So if you come up with a slope of a number that's whole, the denominator is automatically 1. Okay, turn the page. Okay, we've got ourselves a flat line and a vertical line. Nothing new here. Same exact thing. We've got ourselves a flat line. They've already told us what the answer to a flat line is, and I actually gave it to you when I summarized. My slope is going to be 0, but I'm going to test it using the numbers they gave us in example 3. The points are 1, 3, and 4, 3. Okay? 3 minus 3 over 4 minus 1 is 0 thirds, otherwise known as 0. 0 slope. Okay, when your numerator is 0, 0 divided into 3 groups, what do I have? 0. B. We've got ourselves a vertical line. I've already told you that the answer is going to be undefined, but I'm going to prove it to you. 2, 3, and 3, negative 1. I'm going to go down. 3 minus negative 1 over 2 minus 2 is 4 divided into 0 groups. Can you divide something into 0 groups? No, the answer is not 0, it is undefined. So it's undefined when the denominator is 0, it's 0 when the numerator is 0. Okay, if that helps. It's undefined. If you do this and your denominator is 0, flat lines are 0, and you'll find that your numerator is 0. Okay. Last thing, example 4. The distance traveled by a wakeboarder as a function of time. That's like saying when you walk, the longer you walk, the further you've traveled, right? If I walk 4 miles an hour for 1 hour, I've traveled 4. Continuing at that speed, after 2 hours, I've traveled 8, right? That's what it means to be a function of time. This guy, okay, wakeboarding is a little bit faster. In 2 seconds, traveled 52 feet. Okay? Continuing, in 7 seconds, he traveled 182 feet. Notice I'm just copying it as if it was X and Y, but it'll form the same function. So if I get the change in the second item, and remember, Y is up, down, so that's why I chose feet to be up, down. Time is right, left, which is why I chose seconds to be X. Okay? 182 minus 52 is what? 130 over 5. 7 minus 2. 130 over 5. So this is feet. This is seconds. Reduce it and you have 26 feet per 1 second. 26 feet per second is his travel rate using what you were able to see on the line. Okay, that's what's really cool about slope, is using information, you could figure out what a person's speed is, if you know that kind of information, using the change. Okay? All right. I'm going to let you guys get started. One thing I'm going to share with you, oh shoot, bell rang.